வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine. Good evening, good morning, everybody. Today we have a very special speaker with us. Many of you know her as a back-end person. Today she is coming into the foreground. Vijayashri, as we call her. Vijay is what we all know her very specially. Vijay is a BCom graduate. She is a cost accountant who has got also a distinction in costing and manual accounting in her ICAWA days. She spent almost 20 years in the corporate life, primarily with HP and Dell. She was working in the IT organizations for quite a long time. She took a voluntary sabbatical, I would say, and moved to World Community Service Center about 10 years back. In the last about 10 years, she has taken a lot of pivotal roles in shaping the organization. Initially, she was handling the other states and foreign countries portfolio, where she was helping veterans Bachandraya and Jayanti and Rajashekhar in shaping their journey all over the world. She was the person behind the scene. After we formed the new team called the Digital Solutions, she has taken charge of the team. Now she's the joint director at the World Community Service Center. Vijayashri, as the joint director, manages all the online courses. Today we run the online course lasts about almost 3 years now. All over the world, we are running these courses. All this spearheaded by her. She has a team of people whom she manages so nicely. She is absolutely nice with them, very friendly with them, and also a taskmaster. She is a very passionate lady, always drives anything with a lot of conviction and enthusiasm. Any task given to her does not go unnoticed, does not go unsolved. That's the way she is. And today she's going to talk to us about mind, the most important thing in the world. I will call her as the Iron Woman of WCSC. Iron Women of WCSC. Today we have Vijayashri talk to us about secrets of the mind. Vijayashri, over to you.
Thank you, Aya. Thanks a lot. Okay, I'm just trying to move my slides.
They all want to see you also.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just a minute. I think somebody's raised their hand also. Okay. Just give me a minute. I'm just trying to move my slide. Okay. Be blessed by the divine. Don't mind the mind. Never mind. As we mind our mind can give more to mind. Let us only mind what we can mind and not mind what we cannot mind. Well, so how's that to start off with a twister? And all that is running in all these 45 people who've joined, and maybe 43 considering we have 2 or 3 hosts, is who's this crazy woman or mindless person talking about all this? Be blessed by the divine. Firstly, Janaki Ramanaya, thank you for the most humbling introduction. You're always very kind. In fact, it's not what I have contributed to this organization or to this. I feel very blessed and grateful to be under the wings of such a great guru. Many people in their lifetime, in fact, many people spend a lifetime.
We are able to hear you, we cannot see you.
Okay. Okay.
No, at least for the introduction, you please come on video.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, I'm here. Okay, fine. Okay, let me just say, many people, we spend a lifetime searching for a guru, and a lot of people are not even successful in it. I feel very blessed that I have come under the wings of such a great guru, or such a visionary guru, actually. And to be able to associate myself with great souls like Balchandraya, Rajashekhar, Jayanti Amma, and Janaki Ramanaya, all these people have given me the right kind of a guidance. They have been able to lead and guide me. So I feel grateful every moment, every day that I'm a part of such a noble cause and I'm able to contribute something back. So thank you. So let's go to the topic of what all the mind is. Okay. So I'm going to go on back on mute. Okay. On off video. Okay. Fine. Just 1 second. I'm having some issues with this. Okay. Now let's come to today's topic. Before that, I want to thank. So this was a last minute addition of this topic, and I had to do it. I just got to know about it yesterday. But I really want to mention all the people who helped me in the last 24 hours. Balaya, Rajshekarna, Sachin, and the entire team. So many of you have encouraged me, motivated me, each of you, in fact, Sunda ma'am, you including, and given me the confidence that, yes, let's do this. It's no big deal. You'll be able to talk. That itself is such a support. And then I always feel, why should we shy when we're talking to our own family? So this is the Sky family. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about it. So let's start with this. Do we really know what we know and what we don't know? That's the first question we actually ask ourselves. Secondly, how do we know, all these information, or how do we decipher all this? I want to just start with an example, or a true life instance. So in the last few weeks or months, we've been searching for a place to move in. And I right now stay in the center of Chennai city. So moving somewhere far is going to be a very tough decision, or I don't know what it is going to be. So I discussed this with Janaki Ramanaya, and I was really cribbing, not even discussing. I was really cribbing about it to him, saying, I don't want to go away. It's so far. He asked me a very valid question, which really actually knocked me down. He said, what is far? He asked me. Well, I didn't know how to answer that at that time. He just said, change your mind. It's all there in your mind. When a mother is shouting at the child, saying, study, you have to do something, she says, focus your mind. When I'm arguing or yelling with somebody, at somebody, and when or any of us are angry at somebody or losing our cool, what do we say? Quieten your mind. And then when we are trying to do something or having millions of thoughts or feeling stressed like a volcano is going to erupt inside, what do we say? Control your mind. So what all do we really want our mind to do? Have we ever thought about that? So it seems like we want our mind to do many things. But how can we do something when we don't know what it is and how to do it? So let's ask the WH questions: the what, the how, and the where. So when I started doing, I wanted to collect, I wanted to know, what to talk. So as usual, here all this generation of the internet freaks. So I asked Google. I said, Google, what do you think mind is? So it very beautifully said, as a noun, it's a part of the brain that thinks and remembers your thought, feelings, and intelligence. It says as a verb, to feel annoyed, upset, or uncomfortable about something. For example, Vethathiri Maharishi will mind if you don't do meditation every day. So that's as a verb. So, but what is mind really? What does science say about mind? In psychology, I'm not going to read this because it's really too long. So I'm just going to give it like 5 seconds so you can read about all the medical jargons which I hear and what it really talks about. So when one doesn't understand something, I mean, this is, I've seen it in most places. When we don't understand something, we try to explain it by overcomplicating it. I'm not sure if you'll agree or no. If you do, please let's be interactive. We can at least do a chat saying yes, no, or maybe I'm wrong. But we've been blessed with our guru. Actually, he oversimplified everything that at times we don't even take it seriously because it's so simple that we say, oh, it's so simple. I'm not sure if it even works, but it works. And that is Simplified Kundalini Yoga. He simplified this whole idea of what is mind, what we can do with it, and what we can, how we can unleash its power. He's given us 360-degree solutions, not only for the body, the mind, but also for our soul, or as we, as Sky Yogis, like to call it, the life force. So look at this beautiful statement here. What does it say? It says, what I like, I think is right. But what is right, I should like. And how can we do that? It's only by changing the mind. As we say, most of the times when we are talking to somebody, or when you're trying to make somebody feel better, or we are trying to make ourselves feel better, what do we say? We say it's all in the mind. So that's like the standard thing we say. Okay. Now, science, let's come to science. Now, science doesn't even acknowledge the existence of mind. What they cannot see and dissect, they do not cognize. Does that mean that the mind is not there? Does that mean that it does not exist? No. But what has the answers? Spirituality has all the answers which we need. Our great philosophers, Siddhas, through intense research, they have discovered the in-depth nature of the mind, its source, its usage, its inherent qualities and capabilities. Spirituality, and I want to emphasize this again, it's spirituality and not religion which has discovered the secrets of the what, the how, the where. That is what we are. Now, do animals have a mind? I want to park this question right here and then think about it. Do they have a mind? Can we just have some answers? Wait, I'm not sure. Okay. Well, whether you answer or no, I'm going to give it. So, yes, they do have a mind. It's only, so I'll tell you a story. So I currently in my home, I'm having a rat menace and I'm trying all the means possible to try and get rid of it. But this rat has evolved so much that every method I am trying to use to catch it, it is eluding it. So I'm so surprised. In fact, I'm really pleasantly surprised and quite intrigued at how a small creature like a rat has developed its mind power, has developed its consciousness, if I can say that, to such an extent that it is able to know whether this is something which I should not go near. This is something which I'm going to get trapped about. If that is what it is, then we, as humans, we are the ones blessed with a mind, and we not only know that we have a mind, but we are yet to discover its full potential. Now, I want all of us to see this small video and, understand. I mean, this is something which I have liked. I have seen this over 10 times. As we all know, we have the sixth sense, and this is that is the mind. And since it's being used only by humans, this movie beautifully depicts how one can use the potential of one's mind and how much percentage we are actually using right now, and then what is it that we need to do as we move forward. Okay, I think I have to share the sound. 1 second. If somebody is unable to see, please let me know. Okay.
Animal life on Earth goes back millions of years, yet most species only use 3 to 5% of its cerebral capacity. But it isn't until we reached human beings at the top of the animal chain that we finally see a species use more of its cerebral capacity.
So what is it that he talks about? He talks about how much of our mind we are actually using. What is the difference between the animal mind and the human mind? Okay, moving forward.
If life starts approximately 1 billion years ago, 1 neuron, you're alive. 2 neurons, you're moving. And with movement, interesting things begin to happen. 10% may not seem like much, but it's a lot if you look at all we've done with it. If we could access, let's say, 20% of our brain's capacity, this first stage would give us access to and control of our own body. Well, the next stage would probably be control of other people. But for that, we would need to access at least 40% of our brain's capacity. After control of ourselves and others, comes control of matter.
Sorry. So I just want to add here, the video is not done, but I just want to add something here. When he talks about control of matter, Swamiji actually says that whenever there is an obstruction in the mental wave, that becomes perception. Our mind is having such a wonderful faculty to cover the whole universal system and also understand the universal secrets, because that has taken all the shapes and qualities in the universe. It itself is working as mind. So mind can take any shape. And that's what he said in this movie too, that mind will start deciphering matter. And that's what our Swamiji said so many years ago. He said, when you think of an atom, you become the smallest atom. When you think of the whole universe, you will expand to the whole universe. Such is the wonderful function of the mind. That's what he said. Okay, I have now lost it here. Okay, I'm just going to play it from here.
Come control of matter. If its habitat is not sufficiently favorable or nurturing, the cell will choose immortality. In other words, self-sufficiency and self-management.
Everything's different now. Like, sounds are music that I can understand, like fluids. It's funny, I used to be so concerned with who I was and what I wanted to be, and now that I have access to the furthest reaches of my brain, I see things clearly and realize that what makes us us, it's primitive. They're all obstacles. Film a car speeding down a road. Speed up the image infinitely, and the car disappears. So what proof do we have of its existence? Time gives legitimacy to its existence. Time is the only true unit of measure. Without time, we don't exist.
But what would happen if, for some reason, we ignore somebody unlock 100% of the cerebral capacity?
100%?
Yes?
I have no idea.
Great. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed this movie and I watched it like so many times, and I really watched this because it talks a lot about mind, how we can expand our mind and what we can do. So in the last, how does he end? He says 100%. I have no idea, he says. But do we really know people who have used 100% of their brain capacity or their mind capacity as Indians and born in this spiritual land? We definitely know of such people. We know of great gurus. We know of our siddhas, or the ancient sages, as we call it. We know of our beautiful, our powerful ancestors who have built such amazing structures, who have written about the earth, the universe before our scientists or the world scientists have discovered it. I'm not sure how much percentage of your brain they have used, but one thing we can definitely say is that we are not using even some percentage of our brain capacity. Now let's come back to this. Now, we heard about what Vethathiri Maharishi talks about the mind, how we can perceive our item or an atom and dust particles and everything. Now, what is it that he's actually spoken about mind, or what is Swamiji spoken about mind? He says there is no problem in nature. He's always said, and this is one statement which I have deeply connected to when I joined Sky, is nature is kind and compassionate. And we call it providence because it provides for everything we need in our lifetime, much before even come on this earth or much before we are born. If that is so, why are we all so unhappy? Why are we always running behind something? Because problems are only in the mind. And what we cultivate in the mind is what it grows. So what we sow is what we reap. And that's what he says in the second line. Whatever we sow in the land of mind will grow. But we have to consider as to what we have to sow. If you try to suppress the mind, it will wander, which is right, because long ago, a very good friend of mine said, what you resist will persist. So if you try to resist something, resist a thought, that's going to be persistently there in your mind and it's going to trouble you. If you try to understand the thought, it will subside. That's what Swamiji says. If you have something in mind, but say something else, the inner light will turn into fire and spoil your physical body. So what do we need to do? Do we have to blurt out everything we think, or do we have to filter out, accept, process, introspect, and then move on and say it in a way that reaches the person? Evil thoughts, just as they spoil our mind, spoil our body too. For example, we go and watch a violent movie. The most prominent thought in our mind is going to be violence, is going to be agitation, is going to be all the thoughts which are not necessary. At the same time, as a group now, we are in a very beautiful frequency. We are looking at Swamiji's photo right here and we're reading his thoughts. So obviously we are connecting to something which is much deeper and higher, and we all in a calm and a peaceful state of mind. Next slide. So let's come to this. So if we have to understand that the thought, if you overcomplicate it, or you have to control it, it'll subside. If you have something in mind and say it, how are you going to actually say that thought? How are you going to make it a reachable thought? Now, mindless or mindful minding of the mind. Is mind physical or spiritual? So if you move forward, what is the qualities of the mind? Mind is not physical. Mind is spiritual. Life is spiritual. We cannot see it and we can only feel it. That too very rarely. But we cannot ever deny its existence. Have you ever wondered, when you're deep in sleep, does your mind work or does not work? I have a beautiful mosquito story for it. When you're deep in sleep, if a mosquito bites you, will you get up or will you continue to sleep? What is actually triggering you to wake up and feel the pain which the mosquito has caused? Is the mind asleep when you're sleeping, or is it awake, alive and aware? The answer in the bite of the mosquito that you fell to the sleep is that the mind sends a signal to the brain that the body is experiencing pain and that it should come to the awake state. Wow. It's really a wow. I think the only exception to this will be in the coma state where the mind is not functional at all. Don't you think human mind is one of the most magnificent things? Mind is constantly working and it can think of multiple things when you're doing something. How it is thinking, how is it functioning? All this is not included in the 5 sensual pleasures because all those sensual pleasures are physical. The mind is beyond these, way above and beyond. So what is the source of mind? In the interest of time, I'll go fast. So what is the source of this mind? Have we ever dwelled on it? What is it that, how is this mind created? What is its source? The answer is very beautifully given by our Guru, Vethathiri Maharishi. He says the source of the mind is life force. And this life force is what makes this mind a functional force. It controls it, it manages it. And it has no limits. Only our physical body is limited. Mind is unlimited. Mind is limitless. It is beyond time. We just saw a clip where it says that time is, where she talks about time. And it says that time is just, what we are perceiving, what is actually there. Mind, in fact, decides the limit of your physical body. Mind is universal. My friend told me this today. He said, when I close my eyes and try to sit calmly, my mind is all over. There are so many thoughts of past and scenarios of the future. If this happens, if this would have happened, how would I have dealt with it? If this happens, how am I going to deal with it? What if I had said this? So the what ifs is what is actually consuming his life. So who's doing all this? Is it the work of our mind, our brain? Who's actually confusing us and creating such a chaos? Definitely, we all know the answer. The answer is the mind, and it's just doing its work because that's the mind's work. And that is what is actually creating all this. Humans have the most powerful mind. Not only are we connected to the mind, but we also have the capacity to expand it. And that is what makes us unique. That is why we have the slide which says, I create, which is nothing but the mind. I create is the mind creates. It is the uniqueness of humans. Mind creates ego, at the same time creates humility. It can create development or destruction. It can create peace and war. A collective mind of a few leaders, collective mind of a few people can either decide to have peace or war. And I'm not even talking about at a world level. It can be at an individual level. It can be at a family level. It can be at an organization level. It can be anywhere and everything we are talking about here. So when one of the so how do we manage this giant of this mind? Swamiji says that only meditation or inner travel will enable us to understand the existence and function of both life force and mind. Now, to understand the mind, it is very important to always know the source. We always say we need to know the source, only then we will be able to manage it or control it. And the source is life force. By doing meditation, you're bringing the mind to a subtler state. The rate of conversion of the energy is markedly reduced and the stock increases. The life force comes to a relaxed state and the cells do get relaxed. So it is very important that we understand the life force and we understand how the life force works in order to understand the mind and to control it. In fact, very soon in our online space, we are going to have some videos on life force by Dr. M.V. Rabindranath. He's doing intense research with a group of team members on life force, and he beautifully explains the origin of life force, how it is functioning, its qualities, how we can manage it. I urge you all to come visit and know about it, because it is very important as Vedathrians to know about life force. Okay, now that we have come to this, so what is meditation? So meditation is all about not to mind the things what mind wants us to mind. It is to tell our mind to calm down, and then it will really not mind. Well, that's a funny thing. Okay, so let's now talk about why is it or how we can manage this mind to understand it better in a spiritual concept. So mind is practical. So it knows what it cannot do. It's deep, and we've never understood its depth. It is limitless. We've already spoken about it. We know that right now you're using only a percentage of the mind capacity. So if we expand, so as I said, it is multidimensional. So we can think about an action which we do, what impact it will have in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or even thousands of years. So in the same way, we can go back and think, know about, what all was done. So we can go back in history or go front ahead in the future. So mind is limitless and it can expand. It is all powerful, always and always too. Mind has the capacity to merge with divinity, and mind itself can become one divinity. So one with divinity. So what do we need to do? Focus our mind, manage the frequency. Now it's all so when I was learning Sky, I used to always say that just philosophy is not going to help us. We need to have practical applications of what we are learning in philosophy. Vethathiri Maharishi has given us so many techniques for mind management. What is it? So and his meditations are out of the world. Okay, so for example, mind. We've now understood that the frequency of the mind is very important, and mind can work at various frequency. At a subtle frequency, we can understand the non-physical things, that is like electricity, gravity, magnetism, and all the other non-physical energies which are there in this world. When we learn science, we need to just have our frequency tuned, because we are only training our intellect and not the mind. We know that the brain is a physical organ that is existing, but do we know and understand the capacity and its potential? And we saw that in this movie. Do we even understand the potential of the brain? So there is a strong bond between life force and mind. And we don't learn this. This education is not provided to us while growing up. We learn it informally. But this should definitely be a part of the education system. In the ancient days of the Gurukul system of learning, tuning the mind was as essential as learning other skills and learning other education. Because we as human beings are born with plethora of animal qualities, and these are inherent and they keep coming out, and we have to overcome this. All this is possible only when we have a strong mind. Now, we spoke about having a deep relationship between the life force and mind. Science can decipher only physical things. And India, as a nation, as a country with such huge, rich culture and knowledge, we have understood the mind in depth, and we have unraveled its mystery to its last layer. We are aware of the full power of the mind and we have focused on its source. And that is what Kundalini meditation is all about. This is what our Guru Vethathiri Maharishi has given us in a platter. And I really want to use this word, it may sound strange, and has made it obnoxiously easy for us, because all he's asking from us is to learn, experience, practice, and share to the world. And that is all he expects from us, because he's done all the work of understanding it, of making it so simplified and giving it to us. Now, meditation can be done in different ways. We can focus on a flower or a form, or in so many meditations, they'll say you think of the sea, the ocean, the place you felt happy. So there are a lot of different types of meditation, but all these are in the physical forms, and we need to focus on the physical form. Can you focus on a non-physical thing? And that is the most practical kind of a meditation, the metaphysical, the source of mind itself. The wave should focus on the ocean. Only then it will calm down. It will not be a separate entity. It becomes one. Now that is what Kundalini Shakti is all about. Kundalini is the life force. It is the source of it all. By going beyond the focus of the life force, when we focus on the source, that is when we truly experience and understand divinity. This is universal, the Maha Akash. And mind is nothing but an extension of the life force. Now, when we do the various meditations which is taught in Sky, in Agnya, we focus on the life energy. In Turiya, we become one with the life energy. But the most powerful of all is the Turyadida meditation. The mind remains focused on the life energy. It assumes the shape and quality of the life energy and transforms this energy into the Maha Akash, which is the source. Now, what should be our aim? Our aim should go beyond the source, which is the Maha Akash. And it is definitely possible if we practice regularly. We understand the power of our mind, and follow what Swamiji has given us. We can go above and beyond. We are yet to discover the potency, the potential, and the power of the mind. Through simple techniques which are taught by our Guru, we can illuminate our life. He's our guiding light in this journey of our life. Let us follow this path with devotion and, more importantly, with diligence. So next time when you are in any situation, so practically we have to apply all this. So next time you're in any situation, you will be empowered. Mind your mind and also know your mind, because the power to deal with anything is within you. Thank you so much. Be blessed by the divine.